Hi everyone, it's Lulu. Today is Friday, and as the title said, I'm doing a side-by-side comparison of two foundations, the YSL Fusion Ink and the Sephora Teint Infusion. So I have notes, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing because my memory is not what it used to be. I want to explain what a side-by-side is and what that means. When I'm doing testing of a new product, I like to do it over the course of a few days. And I like to do it on one side of my face and on the other use what I'm already using, or maybe I'm comparing two products, which is what I'm doing today. I think that gives you the most accurate way to assess the product when you can look and say, all right, is it shinier? Is it breaking down compared to what I normally use? Are there fewer wrinkles? Does my skin look moister? Does my skin look oilier? Just whatever. I think you really get a good sense of, even mascaras. Are my lashes drooping with this one but staying curled on this one? Am I smearing on this side and not on this side? Now you might think, well, how do you go through the day? But the reality is nobody's looking at you as closely as you yourself are looking. And furthermore, you're usually quite a distance away from someone and not looking in a 10 times magnifying mirror. So keeping it real, most people don't notice the difference. And so that's what my side-by-side is. And then before I begin, I want to say hello to everyone who is new. Maybe the title caught your eye. You've been wondering about these foundations. I hope that by watching this, the content is going to deliver the information you're looking for. If not, please leave me a comment. I love foundations. I own mountains of foundations. I buy foundations. Foundations are my thing. So are lipsticks and nail polish and mascaras, but that's beside the point. We're not talking about those right now, are we? And of course, I have to say hi to all of my former and current subscribers, especially those who came back after my very long hibernation. I can't tell you how much I appreciate seeing that you're back. Thank you. And now, so let's talk a little bit about the foundations, which is the reason you're here. I'm going to start by saying I really like both of them. I do like the Sephora more. However, if I never met Sephora, I'd be fine with the YSL. Let's kind of go into the comparisons now. They are both serum foundations, which is why I'm doing a side-by-side with them. I think they're both, it's fair to compare a serum foundation with a serum foundation. Serum foundations are, I guess, well, like serums, if you compare a serum to a moisturizer, moisturizers are thicker. Serums are thinner and they absorb and they spread easier. That's the same with the serum foundations, but they are made in such a way that they can hold much more pigment. So you need less foundation for equal coverage. They glide across the skin. They allow you to look more natural, not as made up, but yet you're still getting the coverage because the high pigmentation, it's the technology and being able to suspend the more pigment in the serum, and it doesn't look as cakey as with a normal foundation. Again, you're going to always be amazed with my scientific knowledge when you watch me. And so they're both serum foundations. And I have quite a few of them. I probably have 6, 7, 8 serum foundations. And each is different. The one that I just cannot use with my oily skin is the Bare Essentials. Oh my goodness, can't come anywhere near it. And I do find with serum foundations, if you use too much, you could get oily. So again, that's why I think it's important to do more than just a first impression, but give it a good test run. Cost and size, they both come in glass bottles. Both are less than an ounce. From a cost perspective, this YSL is in the high 50s, I believe, and Sephora runs 22, 24. There is 2/3 of an ounce, or 0.67 ounces, so 2/3 of an ounce in the Sephora, and there is 0.84, if I recall, ounces in the YSL. So almost an ounce, 2/3 of an ounce. The thing about serum foundations is you will get as much uses out of it as you would a normal foundation, again, because you use less and it goes farther. Let's talk about coverage. I think they are both the same. I get a little bit more coverage out of the Sephora, and I get a little bit more wear time. Is it significant? No, but if you're looking at the cost, then that makes a difference. I feel like also with the YSL, if you apply too much, I do get oily much more quickly than if I apply too much of the Sephora. I now know how much to apply, so it's not an issue. So I do have to be careful with that, but the coverage is, I would say, medium coverage, and they are both very buildable. Again, for me, with the YSL, I have to be careful about the buildable part with the YSL because I'll get too oily too fast. I like to use my fingers with serum foundations rather than a brush or a beauty blender. That's going to be personal choice. I just find they are so silky, so liquidy. It takes so little that the fingers, to me, are just the best application. Others might disagree with that, but I think that, you know, again, I think application is always a personal preference, and that changes from foundation to foundation for me, but with serums, I tend to like to use my fingers. Okay, finish is natural. Maybe natural to satin, not matte. Neither one of these are matte. They are not dewy, they are not illuminating, they are maybe demi-matte if you have normal or dry skin, but I'm going to call it natural or a satin finish on me. I have both of them on today. I'm wearing Sephora on this side, YSL on this side. I've had them on about 5 hours at this point, and you can see, I think, you know, again, they're both about the same. I have blotted, and I always blot. I don't care what foundation, what mattifier, what primer, I have to blot. And I also always set with a setting powder. And wear time, I usually apply foundation 7, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, and I get home from the office 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. And these both look really good until about 2 in the afternoon. And they wear the entire day. Again, I think the Sephora wears longer. It keeps its coverage a little bit longer. But for me and my oily skin, that is really great. And they do look good through the entire workday. So I can't complain about either one of those. And I think the biggest difference is going to be in the packaging. Every blog I've read, every YouTube review, even when I'm at the counter, the YSL counter, they will say that the #1 complaint is about the application method. Comes with a cap. You take this off. And the story behind this is Fusion ink. The applicator is a quill. It's meant to resemble a quill, a feather quill. And you dip the quill into the ink and you would write with it. And the thing about quills is that they hold the perfect amount of ink. Depends on the quill, depends on the bird, but you know, the better quills hold the perfect amount of ink. That's exactly what YSL intended with this. So aside from the play on words, this applicator is supposed to hold, I don't know if you can see there's an indentation in there that it holds a little extra foundation, but it's supposed to hold the amount, the perfect amount of foundation you need to cover your face. The issue, and it's not a dropper, a lot of people say, oh, you have to wait for the drops. It's not intended to drop the foundation. What's intended is that you take that quill and you put it on your face, all that foundation, and then you smooth it in. Most people just can't stand that for hygienic reasons, germaphobes, etc. Doesn't bother me. I have lived a long life using mascara, much longer than 3 months, dipping my fingers into eye balm pots, and I'm not blind yet, and I put my fingers in my foundation. That's not an issue for me, but I know, especially from watching YouTube videos, for many people it is. I would say, you know, you could take it on your clean hands, you could put it on your beauty blender, you could put it on your brush. But if you really like this foundation or any foundation, but you don't like the fact that it doesn't come with a pump, etc., go to Amazon or eBay, look up airless pumps, airless cosmetic pumps. They come in 1/2 ounce bottles, 1 ounce bottles, 2 ounce bottles. They're like, you get $4 or $5 for maybe $10 delivered. I could be wrong. But it's great. You can transfer your serums in there, your foundations, anything you'd like. And it's an airless pump, so it gets every bit of the product. My only warning to you is that the first time you're using an airless pump, it has to kind of get the air out and it'll sputter. So especially if you have foundation, hold it away from you because it's really going to sputter. But once that's done, they work like a dream, and they're inexpensive, great to have around. Okay, so there's the packaging and there's the quill. So now you know it's not a dropper, it's a quill. Ink well holds the perfect amount of foundation. The Sephora comes in a dropper style. It's a little, although it's a serum foundation, it is a little thicker than the YSL, but it is still, you know, pretty thin for a foundation. Again, not everyone likes the dropper style, but at least it's easier. You can put it onto your mixing plate or your back of your hand, etc. And color-wise, just so you know, these are my summer colors. I have both of them in non-summer colors. Sephora is 33 Walnut and YSL is BR50. Another little tidbit on the coloring. I typically am a BD, which stands for Beige Doro, Doro being gold. I am a golden undertone, and that's what I wear non-summer. In the summer, I am Beige Rouge. Is it Rouge? It's red. Anyway, for pink undertones. Not that I have pink undertones, but when I'm self-tanning, I like a little bit more of that reddish, brownish undertone, so I went with BD50. And that would be about MAC NC 3540 if you're a MAC person. And that's kind of it. So I like them both very much. I prefer the Sephora because of price, because of application, because it wears a little bit longer with a little better coverage. And I have to be a little bit more careful with the YSL because I can go oilier than normal if I use too much. In terms of what do I use under it, because that can make a difference as well. I always use every morning vitamin C, 20% serum. I buy them on Amazon, whatever's got the best price. And right now I happen to be test driving a new product from Alba Botanica, and it's called their Acne Dote. I do not have acne. I do not break out, even with my oily skin, have never had breakout problems. But that's where you often find the oil controlling lotions, and that's what this is. It's an oil control lotion. It does have 2% salicylic acid. Again, even though I don't break out, I like having salicylic acid because it helps keep your pores clean. Salicylic acid is the acid that exfoliates inside the pores. And with mature skin, you're sagging, which is stretching your pores open to begin with. And then if they're filled with gunk, that's keeping them open and stretching them even more. So if I can keep my pores inside cleaner, I can make my pores look a little less big than they already are from the sagging skin. Don't you love that? So there you have it. And I hope that you enjoyed this side-by-side. I hope that you found this helpful. Again, I like them both, but for the money and for the coverage, well, just ever so slightly, I like the Sephora better. And hopefully this answered all your questions. If not, leave a question below. I'll do my best to answer it. I love foundation. I buy them all the time. I test them all the time. Foundation is my thing, along with, well, lipstick, mascara, nail polish, you know, things like that. Anyway, you all, thanks again for stopping by. You have a great rest of the day, and I will be seeing you again soon. Thanks.